Tell him if he's online. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to call our meeting to order. Thank you for coming and sharing with us. We do appreciate your coming and being with us, to know and understand about the operations of your county. This county can never be any better than the people who work in this county and who love this county and would do anything for the good of the county. So again, I welcome all of you here tonight to join in with us in this meeting. I also note that when we meet for a purpose. This meeting is not about me. It's not about any of the board members. This meeting is about taking care of the minutes, taking care of the business of the Northampton County for Northampton County. And when we meet, we always want to refer to our mission statement, which is behind me, and I cannot read it, but mission statements talk about what it is we are about and what we plan to do in the future is looking at our vision statement. So here, those are the two statements that we follow in making decisions about our county. So at this time, we're going to ask you to please stand with us in word of, and let's do the, let's do, okay. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. I'm now going to ask you to please, if you just take a moment of silence. I intend to do that first, but I got ahead of myself. But we would just take a moment of silence. Thank you. This time I'm going to ask our Vice Chairman, Walter Sheetwood, to please. No, I guess we need to go first to the approval of the agenda. God, off tonight. Approval of agenda. You do have the agenda before you too. One thing I want to note that we need approval tonight for USDA. Tonight is the night when we don't have comments. Tonight is the night when we don't have the actual vote. We talk about it and then we come at our next meeting and we do the approve it. But you'll know by tonight by our action what it is that we plan to approve. But I do note that there was another item that I needed to add to the agenda, and I want to apologize for our county manager and for our assistant clerk to the board not being with us tonight. They're ill and they could not come. I think that they both are on Facebook with us, and they'll be able to come on and make any comments that we need to make if they feel like it. But I do note that there is a resolution that I need for us to consider for our Representative Butterfield to name a road, 95 portion of that road in his honor. So I do want us to discuss that tonight, see if there's any person who will object, anybody would want questions about it. So if you would add that to our agenda, just a discussion about the road dedication in the honor of Representative Butterfield, retired Representative Butterfield. At this time, we'll follow our agenda. Could I have you to make a motion to approve our agenda?
Make a motion that we approve the agenda with the amendments as requested. Placing the road renaming discussion. I guess we could do that after the opiate resolution.
Just remind. Could I have a second?
Second.
Would proper second that we would change our agenda accordingly. Are there questions and discussion? If not, all in favor, let me know by usual sign aye.
Aye, Broadnax Taylor.
Faulkner.
Aye.
Let's have it, motion is carried. Mr. Edwards on yet. See. At this time, you all know that we blessed in Northampton County. Blessed like we've never been blessed before. Kinds of revenue we have coming into our county. Taxpayers in Northampton County do not directly have to pay for. Today, it's an honor for me to have our USDA representative with us. I guess before we do that, we need to make sure that no conflict of interest. So if you would read that and let me make sure that we have no conflict of interest, because USD is here with us. We want to make sure that she understands that there is no conflict along with others.
In accordance with the rules of procedures adopted by this board in section 1534A44 of the North Carolina General Statutes, it is the duty of every member present to vote on all matters coming before the board unless there is a conflict of interest as determined by the board or by law. Does any board member have a conflict of interest with respect to any agenda item coming before the board today? If so, please identify the conflict and the board will consider the matter.
Board members?
No conflict, Broadnax Taylor.
No conflict, Faulkner.
No conflict.
No conflict.
No conflict.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. We got that. Now USDA is with us tonight. Monica Thornton is with us. Monica's from USDA. She'll do everything she needs to do, preparing us to get $5 million.
Well, I'm excited to be here. I've had this conversation with a few of you. I used to live in Jackson years ago. When I started with what was then called Farmers Home Administration, which is now Rural Development, my office was in the 3rd floor of the courthouse. And then we moved out here to this building in this back corner. So we lived here for about 5 years. So I have lots of great memories in the town of Jackson. So it's always exciting to come back to see Jackson. So first of all, my name is Monica Thornton, and I also have with me the area director from the Henderson office, Ms. Charlene Alexander. She and I both have 18 counties, but we have different duties, but we work very well together, and we like to come in pairs where we go places. So it's always exciting. A few months ago, it might even been more like a lot of months ago, we received notification that the Northampton County, let me back up just a little bit. Prior to that, we got an application from Northampton County. They needed assistance to build the courthouse. Before we could get too deep in that application, you guys were granted money from the state to build the courthouse. After the courthouse kind of started going, then you were granted funds from Mr. Butterfield's office. We call it congressionally designated spending grant money in the amount of $5 million, which is what I'm here for tonight. So we're going to be able to help you guys utilize that money for the annexation portion of the courthouse, which is the little building that's going to be in the back that's going to house all the administrative people. That's a simple version. So I'm excited to be here. This is just a formality, I guess is the right way to say it. The money is earmarked for you, but we still have to go through that process to get it down the pipe to get it where it needs to be. So that's why I'm here tonight, is to offer you what we classify as a funding package. to help with the courthouse annexation. Okay. And the good part about it is because this don't happen much. I'm offering all grant. That does not happen often, y'all. It does not, because under the Rural Development Community Facilities Loan and Grant Program, we have billions of dollars of loan money, which is at good rates and terms, and we've helped you guys on lots of things in the past. And there's a little tiny bit of go. So to think that I'm coming to the table with 5 million in grant money is amazing.
Oh, my
I
God.
don't get to say that much. They usually cut us off at 50,000.
Yes.
But this is a special allocation. So thanks for everything that's gone on for Northampton County. Good things are happening. So there was a nice little package that I emailed around to everybody for you to have a chance to look at.
Yes.
And thank you for making sure I had the right I's and the right T's in the right places. So I always like a second set of eyes. So the courthouse annexation project is basically $7,672,201. Okay. So we're coming to the table offering you 5 million in grant money. And then my understanding is that the county is hoping to get the remainder of the $2,672,201 out of your fund balance.
No, ma'am.
No? Okay, that's changed.
It'll be out of the state's funding, that we will not spend all the state funding for the courthouse.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, so
Okay,
that all
so
the,
you're bringing money to the table. You're not going to the bank to borrow anything.
no,
Okay, perfect. Where you get it from, it doesn't matter to me. You just had to send me a letter that you got it.
yeah,
We'll move forward.
got it.
Okay, so I wanted to tell you a little bit about the project. It's $5 million. You're coming to the table with 2.6 for a total of 7.6. There's no restrictions on the grant money other than we have to administer it along with the project. So it would be just like you were financing the whole project with us. We're going to be there through bid openings, construction administration, progress meetings, just like we've done with many other things in the past with you guys, but it's just no repayment on it. Okay. The only stipulation with the grant is that if something were to happen and you sold the courthouse and you put the money in the bank, we're gonna come knocking on the door for the $5 million grant. It's that simple. Okay. We are required to record a document at the Register of Deeds office to kind of sort of keep that from happening. So it brings it out to the public's knowledge that we've supplied a $5 million grant. And the county attorney everybody's already looked at that document, but that doesn't have to be recorded until right before we start dispersing grant money. Okay. So based on the large package of information that I sent to you, is there any questions that you would like to be addressed before I actually make the formal call?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I noticed in going through the packet, this grant has a lot of, I'm very happy, but this grant has a lot of moving parts to it. There's a lot of little components that we must complete in order to get this money. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. But I will tell you this, I will be with you the whole way and tell you how you get through those little components.
That was my second question.
As I tell people all the time, I can't do your job because you do it every day. And I'd be going, oh my goodness. So, and we're here, we're supervised credit. That's what we've always been. So we're here to help you along the way. We will guide you through this process.
So you all will be here to help us go through the necessary steps.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Once we go through the necessary steps, when does it happen? When does this money come to us? Once we go through all of this?
Okay, so what's going to happen tonight when I make the question, do you want this money? And then you guys do your formal vote. Then you're going to do a couple of things. You're going to tell me you've got the rest of the money. You're going to give me a letter. Then I'm going to work with the architect to make sure we've got our pre-bid and documents ready to roll. You're going to advertise for bid. Then once the bid openings are held, then you'll select the lowest bidder on the contract. Then what'll happen is we'll get everything set up, everything executed. We'll have progress meetings. And when money is needed, we're going to do pay request. So this money is not going to go into your hands it'll stay in our hands and we'll help administer it until the project's finished.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
It's, have a question.
yes.
Is there a time limit between when we call for question and when we give you the documentation? Because we're looking at using the verification certification that we have the additional money, because we're looking at using the balance of what's left from the courthouse with that slated to be completed December, which means that we would know
Okay,
exactly
so-
how much that would be.
So when I call for the question,
Yes,
and you guys vote and accept this, and then you're gonna take it and get it signed by both parties, since Ms. Robinson is not here tonight. You'll get them back to me, and then I'll hit the button on the computer. As soon as I hit the button on the computer, it's in your name. You have 12 months from the date that the button was hit. Sorry, I don't know any other word to say than we hit the button to start construction. So if something happens and there's some hiccups along the way and we see that 12 months is coming, are you talking December like next month?
yes,
Oh, wow, that's
yes,
awesome.
ma'am.
So if 12 months come and we're like on 11th month, Monica, we got a hiccup. And I'll tell you, write a letter, tell me what kind of hiccup you had, and we'll extend it. It's not going anywhere without a whole lot of paperwork. And a whole lot of what's going on? Why aren't you doing this? You do not need this. Did you get money somewhere else? You know, can we put it on another project? We got to make it move. And maybe I shouldn't tell you this, but if it hasn't moved in 3 years, I'm gonna get a call from DC. So we got time. Not that I want you to wait 3 years.
No, construction costs go up,
Oh,
so you don't want to make
it's unbelievable.
that
I will say
Your
too, we
project.
were able to get, are y'all familiar with BABA, which is Build America, Buy America
Yeah.
Act,
Mhm.
or Buy
Yeah.
America, Build America, whichever one,
Mhm.
we call it BABA. We did get a waiver for that, which is
Thank you.
awesome.
Any questions?
Don't have any.
Question? Yeah,
Good.
question, Mr. Edwards? Any questions?
I have no
Question.
questions, Mr. Chairman. I'm listening
Thank
attentively.
you. Okay?
Okay.
Yes,
So I am here tonight to offer you a funding package. It includes $5 million in grant, applicant contributions in the amount of $2,700,000. Well, I can't remember that figure, y'all. I'm sorry. $2,672,201. Now, I will tell you this, if something happens and when you go out to bid and it's more than the 7.6 million, I ain't got no more money.
That's why we can't wait too long.
that's fine.
I ain't got more grant money. Thank God. I'm sorry. That's not.
You're right,
So we got to make this work.
it will.
I'm officially offering you a funding package, and then the board will need to vote. And if you'll look at that first form that says resolution, this is basically so that you guys can cast your vote to accept or not accept the package, and then authorize the chairman of the board and the clerk of the county of the board to sign all the paperwork.
Board members, what's your pleasure?
Make a motion that we accept the. Should have had my numbers too. I've moved my papers. $5 million worth of grant money from the United States Department of Agriculture Rural Development with a matching fund of $2,672,201 will be technical.
And that's from the project budget in the preliminary architect report prepared by the architect.
Got it.
That's where that figure comes from.
Did I have a second?
Second.
Second,
Good. Second, good, I like that. Any question? Other discussion?
enthusiastically.
Thank you. Ready to vote? All in favor? The number, you sign aye.
I, Broadnax Taylor.
I, Faulkner.
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Motion is carried.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, what I typically do is say, can we take a little break and you sign all the papers and then go out the door? But since you're both not here tonight, I can leave these with you
Right, leave with our finance.
and then you can call me tomorrow and we can walk through. And then you can either drive them to me in Winton or you can scan them through the email and then put them in the mail to me, whatever's the easiest. Okay.
Monica, before you leave, let me say to you, thank you. We've been working on this for some time. And I want to thank you for working with us day by day as we've gone through this process. You've been great to work with. Now I'm asking you to go back and work with us with our water project.
Okay.
We got to get the water project. Our time is about up. The money.
I do believe Ms. Hillary's managing that, so I'm kind of on the side burner with that, but she
Okay.
told me to act, but I think we're waiting on y'all.
Okay, okay, that's all I need to know. Okay, thank
Make
you.
it happen.
Thank you.
It's gonna happen.
Okay.
It will happen. It will happen in Northampton. That's great news. That's great news. Great news for Northampton. We're gonna have our Commerce office to come and back. Emily, will you please come? Back, please come.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It is a pleasure to be with everyone this evening to be able to give you a congressional update. And again, my name is Kim Mack, and I'm the District Director for the Office of Congressman Davis. Presentation. While he's getting the presentation going, I'll go ahead and start talking. As we all know, that the congressional district consists of 19 counties, and Northampton County is one of the 19. And we are continuously working for you. The congressional office, okay. The congressional office is nonprofit, nonpartisan, excuse me. And we provide the following services. Congressional casework. Each congressional office has a designated casework team that acts as a liaison between constituents of the district and federal agencies to work through whatever issues they are facing. We are a neutral third party in the process. Caseworkers cannot advocate or change a particular outcome or decision.
Oh, man. You get that straight, man. Get that straight.
I don't know where it's coming from.
Please get that straight, please. Oh,
Not sure where it's coming from. Obviously, you run to June 3rd.
Huh. Man. Am I for real? Am I here?
Okay, well, while he's working that out, I'll continue to move through. We're a neutral third party in the process. Caseworkers cannot advocate or change a particular outcome or decision, and some wait periods are from 60 to 90 days. but federal agencies are required to respond to our inquiries. Our office cannot respond or get involved in any judicial matter. Some of the popular issues where constituents have requested assistance are with the Department of the State with passport assistance. For example, there are a lot of people who book their vacation and then realize that they need a passport or there's some issue with their passport. And we've been able to help expedite passports, for example. The IRS, Department of Veteran Affairs are some of the agencies that we work with very closely. And this to magnify it a little bit on Northampton County. Northampton County has had a total of 15 cases from residents that has requested assistance from the congressional office. And district-wide, we've had 698 cases closed across the congressional district. And other success stories include recovering $30K in VA funding for a surviving son of a veteran, as well as saving another county, that not a county, but it was a town. We were able to save them from a $100,000 penalty with USDA. So we are here for the constituents as well as our cities and towns and nonprofits. Also want to talk about our constituent outreach. We have staff that is reaching out to the community. We've met with elected officials, civic groups, nonprofits, and other constituent groups, and we strive to be of assistance and provide support. We want constituents to know that we are here to be able to assist them. And sometimes people like you, the county commissioners, may be people that constituents come to and they're asking questions about how can I get help with something. So that's one of the vital reasons why we make sure that it's important to inform all of you about the kind of services and things that we are able to provide. In addition to that, we have had mobile office hours here in Northampton County. We've every other month, we've been having mobile office hours. And so we've been meeting here in Jackson, and then our next mobile office hours, I believe, is going to be in Garrettsburg. So at their town hall, that's going to be actually coming up next week. We also have congressional opportunities for youth. Students who live or attend school in the 1st Congressional District are able to participate in congressional opportunities for youth. The opportunities include the Congressional Art Competition, where the first place winner's artwork is displayed on the rotunda or in the rotunda in Washington, D.C. Second place winner's artwork is in the office in D.C. And the third place, their artwork is displayed in the congressional district office. Last year, we were able to have one artist from Northampton County. And hopefully this year we'll have more. The beginning of the year, we'll be opening up that process. We also had the app challenge for middle and high school students. That process has just closed. And we also have the military academy nominations, which are open right now for high school seniors that are interested in the military, interested in the nomination from the congressman for the Military Service Academy. Students can also compete for an internship in the district or in our DC office. Right now, we are having our second district intern. Our first one was from Edgecombe County. Our second one came from Pitt County. We have not had, we've had interns in DC, but we have not had any from the district yet, but it's possible. So if you know of any college age students or college students that are interested in internships, please let us know. It's a great opportunity and great exposure for our students. And then we also provide media releases as well as announcements on social media regarding how to be able to connect for those opportunities. So I encourage you to continue to do that as well. Commendations and greetings. If you would like to request one of those from our office, we are happy to oblige. Last month, we presented over 100 of them. They can be anything ranging from a letter of condolence to an anniversary letter to a certificate of special congressional recognition. It just kind of depends. So if somebody reaches out to the office and they're saying, hey, my mom is turning 100 and we want her to be recognized, for example, let us know that. And we would love to be a part of the process and celebrate with all of you. In addition to that, we have flag requests that can be, we can meet through our office where the flag is flown over the Capitol. And then we also present that with a certificate of authenticity. as well as federal grant assistance. And Northampton County has done a great job seeking out federal grants. And you had great news tonight from the last two sessions with Congressman Butterfield. But we are here to provide federal grant assistance, as well as you have Monica, and she's a great asset. But if it's another federal agency, or if you need help, or you're getting stuck, or someone's not returning your phone call, we're here for you to help make sure that you're able to have the communication you need with whatever the federal agency is. And then, of course, lastly, from this slide is the constituent representation in Congress, which of course is the congressman. So over on the next slide, and I'll move to the rest of these a lot quicker. It's on.
I'll manual this slide over.
Okay. So the next slide talks about the constituent outreach that we have provided in the congressional district from our town halls that we've had. Telephone town halls, we've had 2 that have had over 8,000 people on them. Other listening sessions, roundtables, tours, newsletters, text and call, virtual seminars. For example, with the CPF funding, people had a lot of questions about that. So we were able to have a virtual meeting, and see here in this picture here is when we were here in September, and the congressman had came with me, and we visited here, recognizing the week of labor and people and government workers. So if we can move on to the next slide. Okay. So on the next slide, we talk about the legislative update, and we just highlighting some of the things going on with the congressman that he's doing in DC. He's the vice ranking member on the House of Agriculture Committee, vice ranking member of the House of Armed Services Subcommittee on Readiness. He's introduced 13 pieces of legislation, 9 of which was bipartisan. He's co-sponsored over 350 pieces of legislation, more than 250 are bipartisan, co-led 21 pieces of legislation, one of the most bipartisan freshmen in the House, 80% bipartisan record on co-sponsorship, Democratic co-chair of the Bipartisan Agriculture Labor Working Group, and member of the Armed Services, the House Armed Services Committee's Quality of Life panel. And the next slide, we're talking about the appropriations and the community project funding update. And although the last round, Northampton County did not participate, but still wanted to be able to share that information. And that is the House of Representatives have now passed 7 out of the 12 full year spending bills. And the House and the Senate are still a part of their measures, making another continuing resolution likely after the current one runs out on November the 17th. The House Speaker, Mike Johnson of Louisiana, pitched another stopgap measure for January to buy time for the House to pass more full year spending bills. And until the House and Senate resolve the differences on the government funding bills, the community project funding requests still remain at a standstill. But again, that doesn't affect Northampton County because a project wasn't submitted last year. So we move on to the next slide. You move on to the next slide. So this is the full circle moment is one of the things that we also greatly enjoy. And that's when we're out in the community and we're able to see and recognize remarkable individuals here. Like the gentleman pictured here, Joe is a prime example. He's a 102-year-old veteran that we met while out in the field in Lewisburg, who had an incredible life story. And after meeting him, Congressman David highlighted his remarkable achievements on the House floor in a 1-minute floor speech. And following his floor speech in the chamber, it went live across all social media platforms. And afterwards, we went back to Lewisburg to a town hall meeting, and we were able to present to him the congressional record, which he's holding. Now, we do also have 2 congressional records that we will be presenting in December at the Board of Education meeting that's coming up. I was hopeful that we were gonna try to do it before we came here, but it just didn't work out that way. But we were at Central Elementary School, and so we were able to highlight Miss Annie Day, as well as your teacher assistant, Miss C. Calhoun, at Central Elementary School. So we do have 2 full circle moments that we will be sharing really soon next month in December. So I wanted to share that as well. Next slide. These are our social media tags, and just want to be able to share that with everyone so that you all will be able to, if you're interested in following the congressman on social media, and that's a great way to stay updated with the things that we have that are going on. Next slide. And this is also the webpage, and this is also how you can connect with what is going on. We also keep the website updated as well with activities, announcements. And then that's just an example of just how you can connect with the office through the website. Next slide. And then the last question that I have here is, how can we help? How can the office be able to provide assistance to the county? And that we're here for you. Anyone have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Was Commissioner Edwards speaking?
No.
Okay. Okay. You answered the question about federal grant assistance.
Mhm.
Can you explain that just a little bit? As far as when you say needing assistance,
Sure. So one way is we come to you or you come to us and you're saying we need funding for X or Y or Z. Prime example of that is the courthouse funding. The HUD is another one as well. Now that was specifically CPF funding. So that was special designated appropriated money that the congressman was able to provide. But then there's also times where you may be looking for something specific that may not fall in that realm where it's CPF, and we're able to look through, work with congressional research, work with colleagues in DC to see what federal agency you may be able to connect with to qualify for a potential grant. So that's one way. But then in addition to that, it was just sometimes projects can be a little difficult getting going and getting started, and some of the work can be voluminous. And so with that, sometimes you may need assistance with connecting to the right person, or if there's staff turnover, or it could be, a county or town got funding, but they're not able to get the project going. And it could be that the email was wrong, or just something really small that we may be able to help you with really swiftly. So that's another reason how we're also able to help. But probably the number one question that I get when I go out is somebody is asking us, how can we help them with a funding request that they need, or a low interest loan?
thank you.
We also as well provide letters of recommendation as well for grants.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And also thank the congressman for recognizing Miss Annie Day.
Mhm.
That was wonderful. It was on Facebook. It was wonderful. About her contribution as a bus driver for us in Northampton County. Fabulous.
50 years is a long time.
Long time. That was wonderful.
Yes.
Thank him.
Yes, I will make sure to do that. All right, anyone else?
Yes, you mentioned that there's a mobile office hours or time in Garrisburg.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have the date for that?
I do, but I don't have it right in front of me. But what I can do is I can got my work phone back there. I can pull up off my work phone and give it to you.
Because we have municipalities that there are some of their requests that could be state, and some of them might be more federal.
Mhm.
But to have an opportunity to sit with someone to just kind of see what can you offer for a municipality in support. There's a lot of, we're small, we're rural, you understand where we're from. And some don't have the capacity within their office to move the needle on some of their projects and they just need to know maybe a direction.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
That would
And
be great.
We'll be happy to. And some of your townships I've met with already, or they've already reached out.
We want no gaps.
I understand. I understand. And I will be happy to meet with anybody who wants to. You know, the more resources that we can bring back to help these areas like Northampton County, the better off the whole district is.
I have two last questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Or thoughts. Medical, that's one of the things, when Congressman Butterfield was in office, we were working with him and his staff on trying to find ways of having some type of facility within our county that stayed open past 5, that was more central so that our citizens wouldn't have to drive all the way to a Hoskia, all the way to Roanoke Rapids or Emporia or Rocky Mount to get some assistance. And so we were working on that project and we just haven't gotten that momentum back again since a lot of things have happened. COVID came in the mix and then a change in leadership, but I would like to see that get back on the agenda as to how we move. We had several meetings, but trying to get some type of facility within the county that could be open longer, urgent care or mobile office or something. That was one, just trying to see how we can get that conversation started again. And then internet connectivity. We've had several providers that were working through some of the federal funding, and it seems like it's very cumbersome and the red tape is slowing down a lot of the progress. And Northampton County in North Carolina, the research says there is not a deeper desert for connectivity. That's what the data says. So on behalf of the citizens in Northampton and those who drive through Northampton with cell service, we really need, we need that. And it came to light. I was driving home on a Friday. It's a blessing probably that I stayed in office a little bit longer than I normally do. But I came upon an accident between Jackson and Ridge Square. And you all know where the cows and the horses are. That pasture was right there. The person actually had hit the fence, the electrical fence, and that was part of the accident. He drug it across the road. But I had to walk past 3 houses before I could get a signal to call 911 to get someone there. And then when I did get 911, I got Halifax. So then there was a delay, and that was even a delay to then try to wait for that and then transfer to get someone there to help. So internet connectivity, cell phone service, it is a real, if they had been, I've come upon accidents and been the first on the scene where there was loss of life. This one wasn't a loss of life. But how do you, what do you do? I couldn't leave the gentleman to get help. I had to walk, so I keep an eye, but internet connectivity, cell signal, cell service, the satellite thing, I tried it at my house. I sent it back. It just doesn't work. So we just need to get some of the red tape kind of streamlined and removed so we can get this done faster. Because we've been talking about internet connectivity since 2001 with all the research, all the surveys and everything. It was 2001. And it's 23, almost 24. So thank you. All
Sure.
that you do.
Thank you. So, who should be the point of contact that I follow up with regarding her questions?
Give it to county manager.
Sure. Okay. So yes, we will see what information we can find and what are the funding options for a medical facility. So for rural healthcare. So we will look into that to see what options that there are out there that is available. And the broadband has been an issue and I know firsthand because I have to drive through Northampton County to get to the far east of the congressional district. So I understand that 100%, but I know that the federal funding that comes down through the state, but it just seems like that trickle down hasn't quite fully, I wouldn't say have not been figured out, but I do understand that there are some difficulties there. And there has been some discussion regarding that. So I will follow up with the county manager after the meeting to be able to give to give a response to your questions, as well as the mobile office hours. I'll make sure that you get that. I do know that it's next week, but I don't remember what day next week it is. And I don't have my work phone at the podium.
Are they posted on any of your social media sites?
They're expected to be posted probably by tomorrow. So I know that there's a draft and I know everything is locked in for us to have mobile office hours. And so we have mobile office hours in the 18 of the 19 counties. We don't do mobile office hours in Pitt County because the office is in Pitt County.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions?
Another question? Any other questions?
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you so much. Okay, for coming.
Uh-huh.
Greg, Alice. Cooperative extension. Right.
Good evening. How is everybody doing?
I'm fine.
Fantastic.
Good. First of all, I just, I'm happy to let you know that, I'm here to introduce a new employee. It's Peggy Carey, and just ask Miss Peggy to stand up. Glad to have her. And, so we're happy to have her, and, she is going to be our expanded food and nutrition education educator. And, so we're glad to have her and just glad to be able to come before y'all and introduce her to y'all tonight. So, the second thing I had was, just a, bit of business that I've shared with our county manager, who has shared with, our county attorney. And, it's just, a document that we've always had. It used to be called the Memorandum of Understanding. Now it is titled a Memorandum of Agreement. And that is a document that was provided. It should, got a copy of it right here, should look like that. This memorandum is an agreement between Northampton County and NC State, and it's how things are provided and who provides what and how everything is done. As us being kind of a hybrid entity, because we're part county, we're part state. So a lot of the counties across the state have asked for this memorandum to be updated. So all 100 counties are going through this process right now of updating it. The memorandum that is in y'all's document is basically the same memorandum that we've been operating on since 2006. There have been a few changes for as the wording. The biggest thing that I wanted to do is just let y'all know that it's basically the same document. And they have changed a few words, and we've got like a little index that says what was changed and how it was changed. But what we've done in the past working with the county is we've been what we call a sending county. And that is where the state will provide the source of our funding for a percentage. And then the county will provide a source for our funding from the county side. And this memorandum is still the same, but we've got to go an extra step for this new one. If we want to remain what we called in the old memorandum as a sending county, that's where the state will say, okay, we're going to pay for a 2% increase on our portion of the salary. We've always let Northampton be independent of that and not be a lock-in county would say, okay, Northampton County has to do the same thing. So what we want to do is remain the way we've been, and that's called a non-lock-in county. So if the county wants to give us a 2% increase in cost of living, that's independent of the state. If the county wanted us to do longevity, it's independent of the state. And this lets each group be still paying our salary, but it would be only on the portion of the state and only on the portion for the county. Now, there's two things that I'm asking for permission for tonight. One is to give the county manager or somebody on the board to sign the memorandum of agreement that is in your document. And then also give permission to sign the addendum that will state that we will remain non-lock-in, which in the past we called send-in. And that's the two things I'm really asking you for. Prior to the meeting, I wanted to make sure with Scott that everything looked okay and he had no questions. And if y'all have questions, I'm here to try to do the best I can to answer any questions any of y'all may have. I may have to look at my speaking notes just to make sure, but if you have questions, that's what I'm here for now.
Well, members, this is what we've done in the past. It's really no different than we've done in the past. Do y'all have any questions? Have any questions you need to ask at this time? Our county manager, our county attorney, you've looked over this at.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And yep, Mr. Phillips has reviewed it as well.
Okay,
And just as always, if a question pops up, don't hesitate to ask us and we'll try to get to it.
what is your pleasure? No, we don't do that tonight. We're gonna wait till the next meeting. Fine. They ain't got no questions. You, fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Public hearing, special use request, attorney.
Yes, board members and members of the public, this is just to give everyone notice that at the board's next meeting on November the 20th at 6 p.m. or whenever it's called at that meeting, there will be a public hearing on a special use request. This request is being made by The Towers LLC, and it's requesting the placement of a cell phone tower in an agricultural residential zoning district, parcel number 07-04949. So again, this public hearing will be held at the board's next meeting where members of the public will be invited and will be able to make any public statements for or against the special use permit application.
Thank you. If you have any question, you need to ask the attorney. Now, we continue on. Next is a resolution of approval of the Northampton County Board of Education in this application for additional needs-based public school capital funds. We do know that we have people from the Board of Education here. Attorney, could you give us the explanation on that?
Happy to provide a brief overview. Board members, you have been approached by the Northampton County School System with a proposed resolution to approve the Northampton County Board of Education and its application for additional needs-based public school capital funds. In essence, this resolution is approving the Board of Education to apply for supplemental grant funding for the construction of the new high school building. In the resolution, you will see that the school system has already been granted approximately $50 million for the new construction. In October or last month, the General Assembly passed a session law which allows counties to apply for supplemental funding for the same grant in an amount not to exceed $12 million, provided that the county has not yet begun construction on the project. As construction has not yet started, they will seek additional funding up to $12 million. And in essence, this resolution just authorizes them to proceed. I'm happy to answer any questions. And I know Dr. Edwards is here and Mr. Phil Matthews is here.
Y'all have any questions y'all need to ask? Any questions you need to ask? They want some additional funding for the new high school.
No questions.
It would not be funding that we'll be providing from taxpayers in Northampton County. State is doing it. State. State's been mighty good to us. I might not want to say it, but the state's been mighty good to Northampton County. $50 million is another we can apply for. I just got a sense they're gonna get it. I really do. I got it. Any questions? Any question, board members? Any question, board members? Mr. Ellis, any question?
Same self-explanatory, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
They're here to answer all your questions, and I appreciate them coming. So if y'all had any questions, be asked to me, you can ask them. They're here. They're here. Okay, so the matter, we have it on our next agenda. Consent agenda. Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you, board members. We appreciate it. We're here, we're in this together. We're gonna work this together. Okay? Together. Okay, may we continue on, open the yes,
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Tyner. Next, board members, is a proposed resolution to direct the expenditure of opioid settlement funds. You may recall that this board previously adopted a resolution similar to this. However, the county, we were requested by the state, and I believe the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, to basically put some more meat in the resolution with proposed strategies for how the funding that we are to receive in the amount of $779,236 will be allocated. And so in the resolution, you will see 5 proposed strategies, one being collaborative strategic planning, the second being early intervention, third, I'm going to butcher the name of this.
Naloxone.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Commissioner Broadnax Taylor. Distribution, the fourth, post overdose response team, and fifth, syringe service program. Happy to answer any questions.
state's providing this money will cost taxpayers in Northampton County a dime.
I have a question or just a comment. In looking, I attended that opioid conference.
Mhm.
And I want to make sure Northampton County Schools is included in getting some of this assistance. They're in need of, I've spoken with the superintendent, I've spoken with their student services person, Ms. Cobb, and they're in need of training, additional training in the area of drug prevention. They're also looking at the needs of modules, training modules, and they're looking for resources that they can assist our young people with different counseling needs. And I just I can't be quiet on this. I got to advocate for them. So what we're doing is wonderful. But I want to make sure that Northampton County Schools is included in what we're doing. That's all I had to say about that.
Sure,
I'm sure.
we got it.
Mhm.
We're gonna ask our county manager to talk to the school people and bring a report back to us how we're gonna spend this money in Northampton County. Okay, and the school system and all the other agencies in Northampton County should certainly be involved.
Thank you, Chairman Tyner.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I know with the Parents' Bill of Rights, a lot of the ability for certain things to happen has kind of gotten a little more difficult. But who is going to be a part of developing the strategies for the use of the funds that align to the allowable?
There is our county
We have a
manager.
committee.
Yeah, our county manager has already got a committee. I think who's heading that committee is the,
Now I'm on that committee.
okay, yeah. Well, anybody you. Well, she's on a committee.
yourself.
There is a committee that is gonna look at it and doing it. Okay, well, you tell the committee. Okay, yeah, okay.
I
Yeah,
just would
so-
like an update on what the plans are before we actually finalize.
Okay. All right.
Glad to share
Okay.
that.
Thank you. Thank you. We expecting you to represent us on that committee.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I see the Board of Education expecting you to represent them too, I guess. All right, let's continue on. Okay. Road dedication.
Mhm.
Board members, I do note that I've got a letter from, and I did include it yesterday from the County Commissioner Chairman in Halifax County. He's asking, his board has already agreed that they would send a letter to the state of North Carolina to that department that owns the road dedication. And he's asking us if we would please send a letter likewise, saying that we would agree that a road dedication will be done on a Representative Butterfield.
Is this additional documentation than what we received at our retreat, or is this the same? Same, okay, so it's just putting it on there.
I'm just putting it up here
Okay.
so to everybody.
Okay,
You know, I asked you about it. Okay, anybody have any questions about it? Then we're gonna ask it. 95. 95 section. Yes, I'm 90 section, and I get you the letter sent. Okay, since you're gonna do the letter for us. Attorney will do our letter and get it to the state. Okay. Any question? Okay. What do we have next?
veterans advocacy committee.
Yeah, you all see that, that the whole list of all those persons on that committee. Vice Chairman, you gonna read those things out?
We received proposed candidate appointments for Mr. George Reed of Gaston, Edmund Junior Moody of Gaston, Joseph Mitchell of Woodland, Shirley Williams Miller of Garysburg, Stanley Edwards of Pendleton, Wesley Robertson of Henrico, Henry Wright of Garysburg, Eddie Hewitt of Gaston, Stephen Jackson of Jackson, Joyce Buffalo of Margarettsville, Reverend Dr. Marjorie Bishop Edwards of Conway, and that concludes the list of interested committee members.
Well, members, got a question? You got a question? Any question? We put this for the agenda for our next meeting. With names. They'll be working with when we hire one, I guess, county manager have not hired one yet. Veterans Affairs person. When he does, then we will, of course, they'll be working with him.
And just for the public's, some of our commissions and boards have requirements for individuals to live within certain areas, like one from each one of our districts. This one has 13 citizens at large, so there's no requirement for a certain number, although we do try to balance that out to have the voice. But it says 13, a quorum consists of 7. Meetings are held monthly on the second Wednesday of each month at 10 o'clock at an agreed upon space, if there's anyone who's interested in also applying to be considered.
We're certainly glad that we had citizens who had applied and put in their application. If there are any other citizens that listen to us tonight that want to move any of our boards we have, please let us know. Because we have vacancies all the time on board, people leaving boards for whatever reason. And we have those vacancies, and what we do is go back and look at those who have applied. So if you are interested, although the vacancy might not be there now, but it might be later. So if you go and apply, you have the application. Okay? That's good. Tax.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I bring you greetings from Northampton County Tax Department. I am before you with 2 appeals in the amount of $613.55 on my first request. The second request is for 15 appeals in the amount of $780.86.
Almost got any problem with that? You see the names, you see the amount. You owe those folks, we owe them. We want to give them their refund. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Financial matters.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
I have several budget amendments that I will be presenting for consideration on tonight, as well as your monthly financial report for the month of October. The first budget amendment is budget amendment number 63. This is on behalf of Cooperative Extension, and this is new grant funding in the amount of $1,000 for the Diabetes Support Group. Budget amendment number 64 is also on behalf of Cooperative Extension. This is new grant funding received as well for $1,000 towards the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program. Budget amendment number 65. This is for JCPC. And this is just a county match adjustment in the amount of $35. And I do have the backup attached there as well. Budget amendment number 66 is on behalf of Department of Social Services. This is just for carryover funds from fiscal year 23 in the amount of $12,938. And this was for the Elderly Disabled Transportation Assistance Program. The next budget amendment number 67, is also on behalf of the Department of Social Services. And this is revenue received in the amount of $3,423.43. And that was for insurance reimbursement. Budget amendment number 68 is on behalf of the Health Department. This is new funding received from the state towards the COVID vaccine program in the amount, of $52,106 even. And the last budget amendment I am presenting is budget amendment number 69. And this is actually to balance the budget for year-end close. This concludes the budget amendments. If you have any questions before I proceed. Okay.
Board members, you have any questions? Any question?
The salaries overtime on call, which department is that?
I'm sorry. This is for EMS. The line at the third line.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. That is for EMS.
I remember when we had, and I think we've had some loss in that department.
Mm-hmm.
But we had looked at the decision about whether or not we would increase overtime or we would hire additional. Was that considered? Or hiring additional staff versus overtime? That's something for us to discuss before we vote on the amendment next time.
Okay. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry if
I know
I
that-
misunderstood.
And before we didn't, and I think we're starting to have
Okay.
loss, and I just wanted to make sure just for
revisit.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I'm
we're-
sorry if I
we're not-
misunderstood.
Having more overtime and when we couldn't hire additional, if they were out there.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand.
Okay.
That's all. No questions. Other than
Well, Mosey, Cleo is about the finance.
gotta have them.
She's about the finance. Our book's not right, not just be right. Thank you, have our finance in order. Okay, let's give us your last report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the monthly financial report is for the month of October. And the rule of thumb for cumulative spend was to keep expenditures under 33.3%. I will start with the general fund at 13.1 million or 34%. I do have a note here that that is just a tad bit higher due to the 1.5 million that was paid to Northampton County Schools at the beginning of the fiscal year. Department of Social Services, 2.2% at 28%. The Enterprise Fund, $670,000, 0%. Garysburg Water and Sewer, $121,000 or 15%. And lastly, we have Solid Waste at 2.7 million, 94%. And you can see to the right that that is due to the blanket PO that's issued for curbside pickup. And that concludes the monthly financial report for October.
Well, do you see anything on this report that you want to question? Year's moving right ahead, moving right along. Before we know it, we'll be half of this year. Fiscal year for our county over. See where we stand financially. Any questions? And if you don't have them, one that you want to ask tonight, get home or anytime want to ask, please call out finance.
The enterprise fund is
Water.
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 And I was looking at the enterprise collection. And thank you for providing that for comparison of FY 23 to FY 24 current. That there is a decrease in the collection.
Yes.
It's a 10% difference. And since they have to be self-sufficient, are we gonna have any issues there in that department?
All of you. Too early to tell you. Better to get 6 months.
Just wanna keep our pulse on that one, because that's one that's supposed to be self-sustaining.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Any question? Any others? That's the time to get.
And I can provide an update on that as well.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Question? Questions? Any questions? Any questions? No questions? Then let's move on. Next item we have is our county manager. You're able to speak. You don't feel like speaking, you don't have to. But we would love to have you speak if you feel like speaking.
Good evening, everybody. I'm not sure. if
Yeah,
y'all
no,
can
you don't feel like speaking. Go ahead.
I just wanted to make note that the opioid resolution is not written in stone, so the amounts that's allocated to each fund can be changed. We have to do a reporting in October of every year to show how much money we've received in and how we have deployed those funds. So like with any, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, so like any other resolution, if we want to revise it, we can go in and tweak it and revise it. And it's more than likely that will happen, because if you look at how we allocated the funds, there was no way for us to know how much we are actually going to put into each one of those uses of the fund. So we divided it evenly because this is a report that we have to get into the DOJ's portal. And it has to be uploaded every year in October. So if we do make a change, we'll revise the resolution. If it's significant, we can revise it and then upload that with the next report next year and so on and so forth. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And I'll also let Miss Megan Vick, who is the chair, and Paul now, who's the vice chair, know that we need to have a follow-up meeting with all the board members to go over all the questions that were brought up. Wanted to thank all the citizens for showing up again tonight, showing that you care about the county. Y'all have a good night and be blessed.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for coming on tonight. You didn't have to. Thank you. Feeling bad, but thank you for doing it. And Commissioner wants to say thank you for the fine job that you're doing and the staff is doing here in Northampton County. There's no question that we ask that you have not given us an answer. I speak on behalf of this board, Commissioner. We ask you questions, you're able to give us answers. So we want to say thank you. At this time, we're going to ask you. Yes, sir. Okay. At this time, we're going to ask Mr. Edwards, are you still on? Mr.
Absolutely,
Edwards?
Mr. Chairman, I'm here. Yes, sir.
Are there any comments
Yes, sir.
you want to make? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Quickly, thank you. Thank you for everybody for coming out. Just want to announce that the town of Garysburg is having a ribbon cutting ceremony of the Health and Wellness Center at 501 NC Highway 46, Garysburg on November the 14th at 11 a.m. Ribbon cutting ceremony for the Health and Wellness Center. Also want to acknowledge that November the 11th is Veterans Day. And we want to extend our heartfelt thanks to every veteran in Northampton County and around this globe. Those are my comments, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to ask, is we planning in the county to do anything for veterans do you know of?
I can add a little bit to
The
that.
veterans are meeting. Yeah.
Go ahead, County Manager.
We still have Prod Green Light, where we have a green light in recognition of veterans. That's still going to happen this year, just like we did last year. And then for the employees, we are doing, as we've done in the previous years, we're letting staff go early on Thursday afternoon at noon. All the buildings will close early in recognition of Veterans Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ellis, you have any questions you need to ask the county
Mr.
manager?
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's at the library on November the 8th. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
There's the veterans will be meeting at the Memorial Library in Jackson on November the 8th also.
Yes.
Ms. Robertson has informed me, board members, that there's a ceremony this Saturday at 11 a.m. in the courthouse square that I think is done every year to memorialize Veterans Day. And there's also a veterans drive through lunch pickup Saturday at 12 noon at the senior center.
Are we announcing that? We need to get that out, county manager. We need to get that out so citizens in the county ought to be in the paper somewhere. We ought to get it out so that okay, email it to the paper. They're gonna get it out for you. They're not even gonna charge. Okay. Couple of announcements. Oh yes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Any other comments, Mr. Edwards?
None, sir. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. How about it,
Just, excuse me, just want to thank everyone for coming. Just want to acknowledge that the Fall Festival sponsored by the Northampton Chamber of Commerce was very nice, well attended, and just thank everyone for their interest in Northampton County, making it a better place to live and thrive.
Thank you. How about it? Commissioner?
Just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and supporting our county government. Look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you.
Vice Chair.
A lot of things have been said. The month of November includes Thanksgiving, and we have a lot in advance to be thankful for. I just would ask people, I don't want to wait until the next board meeting because a lot of the sales and things you might can catch now, but reach out to the Department of Social Services, a school in your area to see if there are families, any of those agencies that might need a little bit of help during this time. It's everyone is not able, but together we can make sure that they're not going without on that day. So if you do have an opportunity as an organization to give, my grandmother and I used to get together and cook a big dinner and let people come to the Rich Square Center to pick up plates and eat. And I just wish she was able to help me do that now because I cannot do the collard greens like she does. But again, just that pre-planning ahead to think about the needs that are out there during this season. And everyone else has mentioned everything about Veterans Day. I'm just appreciative of those who served. All of my brothers, my brother-in-laws, my dad, it's a lot in my family. So I thought about it myself, but education took me by the horn and pulled me on in. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you, board members. Let me say to you, thank you for sharing with us in the retreat that we could discuss some things about the future for Northampton County. I want to personally thank all of you for all that you do. So I want to thank you, Commissioner Taylor, for being everywhere, everywhere with everybody. I don't take that for granted. You are there, you represent us. I want to say thank you because every time that they'll call me and say, "You're making me look bad, where were you?" I said, "But Commissioner Taylor was there representing me."
Absolutely.
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely.
That's what we like. Well, I want to say thank you all, all that you do to represent us and all that we do. Northampton County is continuing to move forward. Folks, we are listening every day for more exciting news of things coming to Northampton County. I want to say that Mr. Davis, our Representative Davis, we got something going on with him, and I got to get with you, County Commission, because when they start doing the budget for next year, we need to have our requests in early. I already talked to him. He owed me. Yeah, he owed me. So I want y'all to know we're gonna have a meeting. We're gonna because we got to come up with what it is we want him to emphasize for Northampton County. Because he represents Northampton County, something have got to come to Northampton County. Something. He's our representative. He's got to come from DC for Northampton County. Since we've been doing so well, let's continue to put in our bid for that we need for Northampton County. Thank you again for sharing with us. You ride by the new courthouse coming up. It's coming up really good, and the new building is going to be right next to it. And we're looking for the grand opening of that building. As soon as the contractor would tell us when we can plan for that, we plan to do it. That building represents Northampton County. It really does. And I'm grateful for all of you sisters who hung out with us, who thought that it would be impossible, but we've shown you that it's possible when all of us work together. This is a board that works together. We work together to make sure that we do the things that are right for the citizens of our county. That's all we're about. Any other announcements? Any other remarks?
As you stated, we have to, as a board, go out and meet with our representatives, meet with our constituents to try to find out what our county need to move forward and then advocate for those. I just want to encourage those municipalities to reach out to your representatives, your state and your federal, to sit down with them. Don't wait until the budgets are done and everyone else has theirs to wonder why not me. Sit down now and start talking and get your ears and eyes and mouth and everything, or feet under the table and everything together to try to get what's needed for your community. So just want to encourage everyone, don't delay, don't start, build those relationships now. Relationships do matter.
Okay. Yes.
Board members, I've just been notified that the Veterans Lunch is being advertised in the newspaper and flyers. It's also being going out with the county water bill statements.
Thank you. Okay. Any other? Any other? You done all you do? Did all you can. I have a motion. We okay, have a second.
Second,
Wouldn't probably second to adjourn. I got no opposed, can't oppose that. All in favor, let know by you saying aye.
I brought Max Taylor.
I have it. Motion is carried. No
Aye.
close session. No close session. No close session.
Not smile.
Yes, thank y'all.
Thank y'all for coming.
Thank y'all.